There's a power that can eliminate over half of our defense. Who has this power? You do. Today, the National Guard and Reserve make up over half of our defense forces. So when your employees need time to serve, give them the freedom to protect ours.
As we returned to camp, we were surprised to find a family of vervet monkeys who had evidently found a new plaything. The vervets had figured out how to open the sunroof, adjust the air conditioning, and even turn on the stereo. The vervet's intelligence, however, was ultimately called into question as our Beethoven and Rachmaninoff CDs were left untouched. The preceding has been brought to you by the all-new Nissan Pathfinder, now with even more amenities for you to play with.
It's like a clogged drain, like wet cement, like number 60 sandpaper, like an earthquake.
Vicks DayQuil, all that relief so you can face your day.
Turn your toothbrush into a lethal weapon.
Introducing Cool Mint Listerine Fluoride Toothpaste. It kills the germs that cause plaque or a clean feeling that goes beyond brushing. Cool Mint Listerine Toothpaste. The power of prevention.
In 35 minutes, it's an all-new Tonight Show as Jay welcomes supermodel Kathy Ireland and White Squall's Scott Wolf. Stay up for Jay. Your local news is next.
The campaigning heads south, but Michigan's primary is just around the corner. Tonight, we'll let you know who local Republicans are leaning toward as March 19th nears. And our Target 8 investigation into 2 local rust-proofing businesses pays off. We'll let you know how coming up. Plus, a not-so-fairy tale ending to the royal couple story. Those details more. News 8 is next.
Right now, your Toyota dealer has so many savings. You gotta love it. Savings with special leases on Toyota Camry. Just $229 a month for the best car built in America. Nicely equipped with air conditioning, power steering, and more. Get the lowest lease rates of the year on a new Toyota Avalon and get top-of-the-line luxury, more power, and comfortable seating for 6. Who wouldn't love that? All this quality, all these savings, you gotta love it. See your Toyota dealer today.
Live from Wood TV 8, West Michigan's news leader, Susan Shaw, Tom Van Howe, meteorologist Craig James, and Jack Doles with sports. This is 24-hour News 8.
Tonight, the Attorney General's office is cracking down on 2 rust-proofing businesses after a Target 8 investigation. The latest coming up.
And what's wrong with this brand new building? It's become a hot issue with the people who paid the bills to build it.
And our top story tonight, getting people to jump on Bob Dole's bandwagon the day after he wins big in the Dakotas but loses big in Arizona. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Osunsami in for Tom Van Howe.
And I'm Susan Shaw. Thanks for joining us tonight. A little more than 2 weeks away from Michigan's presidential primary, and state Republicans are still up in arms about which candidate to support. Locally, top Republican leaders are making a case for Bob Dole tonight, all in an effort to prevent the party from splintering. News 8's Brian Sterling has some new developments in that debate, and he joins us live from the newsroom with the very latest. Brian?
Hi, Sue. The former chair of Phil Graham's campaign here in Michigan, along with the Kent County Republican Committee, are both endorsing Bob Dole tonight. Yet how many of their followers will still come on board is yet unknown.
Any of you that want to come on with me on Dole, I'd love to have you.
On a conference call with Phil Graham supporters across the state, former Michigan campaign manager Chuck Yob announced he too was joining the Dole camp.
I think I'm going to go with Bob Dole.
A tough decision for Yob personally, and an even tougher sell to the Graham faithful, many of whom see Dole as unelectable.
They all had the reservations. They have some, you know, or they would have been with Dole. I mean, we didn't go for the front runner. We went for the dark horse.
The Kent County Republican Committee is choosing Bob Dole as well. Leaders saying that in this primary season, the Senate Majority Leader is the only viable candidate.
I think it's, reality time. When you look at what the field's left and who the players are, I think it's very practical to go with Bob Dole. I think Bob Dole's a great candidate.
Yob predicts only a little more than half of the Graham team in Michigan will end up joining up with Dole, the others scattering their support between Buchanan, Forbes, and Alexander. The local Democrats can barely contain their glee.
Certainly it helps the president that Republicans are fighting amongst themselves. I think we don't expect they'll be weakened too much. We expect they'll be rallied behind whoever the nominee is.
A real question mark remains with Michigan's religious right and whether they'll go with Dole, who's seen as a moderate on issues like abortion, or Buchanan, who seems to be the best at getting the attention of those particular voters. Susan?
And Brian, it'll be interesting to see what happens after Super Tuesday as well.
Oh yeah, it'll probably shake out a little bit better after that. Although if it's still up in the air after Super Tuesday, then Michigan becomes real pivotal.
Yeah. Brian Sterling live from the newsroom tonight. Thanks, Brian. Meantime, the candidates' next battleground moves south. South Carolina voters head to the polls on Saturday. Recent polls show Senator Bob Dole is leading, and he's hoping to score his first victory outside the Midwest. But Pat Buchanan's target has changed. He says he'll expose Forbes as a pro-abortion social liberal. The commentator says his publisher rival has been getting religious conservative votes from people who don't realize what he stands for. As for Lamar Alexander, he spent the day at home and took advantage of an early voting period to cast his ballot for the state's March 12th primary.
Governor Engler said it was too expensive and unnecessary, but it looks like the feds may have won the battle over new voter registration rules. For the past 14 months, the state has ignored new federal laws that call for registration at agencies that serve the poor and disabled. But now the state has agreed to follow the rules as well as mail thousands of registration forms to residents who could have otherwise signed up at the Departments of Public Health and Social Services. And just as the tax-free Renaissance zone was quickly becoming history, a Republican majority in the state House readjusted the plan according to the governor's liking. The Urban Policy Committee approved the measure, which eliminates most state and local taxes in aid of Michigan's struggling communities. Some lawmakers didn't want to give out such a big tax break, but the bill is on its way to the House floor anyway.
A West Michigan rust-proofing company is under investigation by the Attorney General's office tonight following a Target 8 undercover report. The owner of Auto Truck Accessories, formerly known as Auto Armor, is in legal trouble. Unhappy customers, however, have finally found some relief. Chris Halsney explains.
And then I thought everything was right. And then I find out they were going to rip me off for.
More than 100 Wood TV viewers, just like John DeSchmidt, have bombarded the Attorney General's office with complaints about the former Auto Armor rust-proof shops on Plainfield and 28th Street. A Target 8 investigation aired last week found store managers often failed to perform the work promised to customers.
It wouldn't, so all 4 doors were done then?
Yes. And this particular vehicle, the slider door on the side is absolutely dry.
The loud cries of poor workmanship and outright rip-offs got the attention of Attorney General Frank Kelly. He has sent a notice of intended action to Tim Gortsema, president of the former Auto Armor shops featured in the Target 8 investigation. The legal papers order Gortsema to cease and desist from engaging in certain unfair, unconscionable, and deceptive methods. Gortsema has 10 days to explain the sloppy work performed at his shops or face a state lawsuit.
We will not hesitate to take all of our options under the Consumer Protection Act in this case.
The threat is coupled with an agreement between Auto Armor's parent company and Kelly's office. ECP Incorporated will offer free inspections and reapplications of rust-proof material to dissatisfied customers of Gortsema's stores. If you think Auto Armor may have left you with dry fender wells and doors inside your car, just call this number, 1-800-323-3521, for complete information on a no-cost checkup. The AG's office says they will continue to monitor the situation.
We're going to make sure that whoever the victims are, either before or after, that they are protected. And we're grateful to the parent company here, ECP, who's being a good corporate citizen, and we're certainly grateful to Channel 8 for bringing the matter to our attention.
So is John DeSchmidt. After seeing our series of reports, he paid a mechanic to take off the door panel of his Buick and discovered Auto Armor hadn't rust-proofed it.
I always thought I was getting a good job, and I was really surprised until I seen your news report on it, and then I kind of blew my stack.
Most dissatisfied customers that are calling the Attorney General's office say they just want what they paid for. The AG says that the legal action against Auto Truck Accessories and Auto Armor will make sure that that happens. In Grand Rapids, Chris Halsney, News 8.
Here's that number one more time. It's 1-800-323-3521. Auto Armor attorneys say when you make the call, you'll get information on where to take your car.
Some Kalamazoo residents are fighting to keep mental health crisis centers out of their backyards tonight. Last summer, the first of 3 of them opened on Brook Drive in Kalamazoo. Now 2 more are in the works. The homes give patients a place to stay for up to 2 weeks, but some people complain they would lower property values and make traffic a nightmare.
Because this is a unique situation. The home is not necessarily a foster care as much as it is a business and a clinic.
Kalamazoo City attorneys are challenging the mental health department and have filed a letter of objection for the center's license. People at tonight's meeting say they'll keep fighting anyway.
Score another victory tonight for the prosecution in Dr. Jack Kevorkian's assisted suicide trial. The Michigan Court of Appeals sided with them in their latest attempt to have the jury instructions reread. Prosecutors appealed the way Judge Jessica Cooper gave new instructions this week, saying what she read was confusing to jurors. This makes the prosecution's 4th appeal in the case, and they're not done. They plan to file another appeal to have Judge Cooper removed from the case. A young woman is still hospitalized tonight after a love triangle turns deadly in Montcalm County. Police say 24-year-old Dave Williamson of Edmore walked into a discount tire and battery store yesterday, shot and killed a man he believed was sleeping with his wife. Williamson then went to the gravesite of his stillborn child and killed himself. It was first thought Williamson's wife, Shannon, tried to commit suicide after hearing about the incident, but police now think she was a victim. Before the alleged murder-suicide, Shannon ran to a neighbor for help, saying Williamson made her swallow more than 50 Tylenols. She remains in serious condition tonight at Gratiot Community Hospital.
A Grand Haven Township fire station is having a little trouble keeping warm these days. The building is brand new and costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, but the heating system still can't keep out the cold.
The township's administrators have tried moving the heating vents, putting more fans in the heater's blower system, and they've even tried adjusting the ceiling space, but so far none of it's helped. There's still at least a 20-degree difference between life at desk level and the warm air up above. And while it's not a terribly serious situation, it's definitely a big nuisance for both the frustrated township and the embarrassed developers.
They built other buildings similar and no problem, so it's kind of a puzzle.
What's even more surprising is that the fire station is only 15 months old, and the township spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building it and making sure this wouldn't happen. What's also interesting is that the building next door is of similar construction, but the heat over there works just fine.
The architect who helped put this building together says he has no idea why this building is losing heat, but he does know it's going to cost a whole lot more to add insulation to keep it warm. That sort of complicates a rather awkward situation, because the question now is, who pays for the additional repairs?
The township manager told us he's not too concerned because repairs could only cost a few $1,000s, and the architect may eventually agree to cover all costs anyway. But that's if this is the last fix.
The township board is now expected to take up the issue next month. Coming up, another crackdown on Cuba.
And many say it's for the better. We'll let you know why. Plus, a mangled mess in Minnesota as yet another train derails. The details coming up.
And a royal mess ends in Splitsville. The latest on Di's decision to divorce as your 24-hour News 8 continues.
I'm Jack Doles. The Pistons find out just how super the Sonics are. Later in sports.
Last week, in a Target 8 undercover investigation,
We took our spy camera and we actually looked inside the door. What we found was that Auto Truck Accessories had ripped us off.
as a result, the Attorney General took notice.
Well, we were made aware of the auto armor problem in the Grand Rapids area by Channel 8.
He ordered Auto Truck Accessories to end its illegal actions and started an investigation into the owner.
And we're certainly grateful to Channel 8 for bringing the matter to our attention.
24-hour News 8.
Ladies and gentlemen, this Friday through Sunday at the Grand Center in Grand Rapids, millions of dollars worth of high-quality name-brand merchandise will be sold. AT&T cordless phone, $19. VCR with remote, $99. Detachable car stereo, $19. Watches from $10. Super Nintendo, $69. Sega and Nintendo games, $10. Clothing from $10. Shoes from $19. Leather jackets from $39. Magnavox boombox with CD, $59. Everything will be sold. You'll save hundreds. This Friday through Sunday. Don't miss it. The Grand Center Exhibit Hall in Grand Rapids. Be there.
From India, China, Pakistan, Turkey, and Nepal, Azar's Oriental Rugs are favorites of all. Add elegance to your home and save up to 50% at Azar's Oriental Rugs Winter Sale.
When we received our first Consumer's Digest Best Buy Award, we were pleased.